Across the centuries, sailors have whispered of a phantom vessel cutting through the midnight fog. This is the legend of the Flying Dutchman, the ultimate cursed ghost ship doomed to sail the oceans forever. In the 17th century, the golden age of sail was driven by the lucrative spice trade, forcing ships to navigate the deadliest waters on Earth. To reach the riches of the East, every vessel had to conquer the Cape of Good Hope, a nautical graveyard off the southern tip of Africa. Enter Captain Hendrik van der Decken, a man whose sailing skills were matched only by his dangerous, blinding arrogance. In 1641, Van der Decken's ship approached the Cape just as a monstrous, unnatural storm began to brew. The crew begged him to turn back. They pleaded for their lives as the winds tore the sails to shreds. But the captain was driven mad by the storm. He lashed himself to the wheel, refusing to yield to God or nature. Over the roaring thunder, Van der Decken swore a blasphemous oath. He would sail around the Cape, even if it took until doomsday. Legend says the heavens answered. An angelic or perhaps demonic entity descended upon the deck to pass judgment. For his pride, the ultimate price was extracted. The ship was condemned, becoming the ultimate cursed ghost ship doomed to sail the oceans forever. The physical vessel was twisted into a nightmare. The grand oak timbers rotted into a blackened, indestructible husk. Its pristine white sails dissolved into tattered, ghostly rags that somehow still caught the non-existent wind. And the crew, they were stripped of their mortality, transforming into hollow specters bound to the rotting deck. The captain, now a skeletal wraith, was condemned to steer his doomed vessel into the abyss, never to make port again. For generations of sailors, encountering the Dutchman became the ultimate maritime death sentence. To see her blood-red sails or spectral glow meant your own ship was marked for destruction. Tales spread of the phantom ship pulling up alongside merchant vessels, its dead crew trying to pass letters to loved ones long deceased. Any captain foolish enough to accept these letters was guaranteed to wreck his ship on the very next reef. Sightings weren't just tall tales shared by drunk pirates. They were documented by some of the most respected sailors in the world. In 1881, the future King George V of England was serving aboard the HMS Bacchante when his crew encountered the legend. The prince's logbook explicitly detailed a phantom ship glowing red in the darkness, crossing their bow before vanishing. The very next day, the sailor who first spotted the Dutchman fell from the rigging and died, cementing the ship's cursed reputation. But as the centuries passed, modern science began to dissect the myth, searching for reality beneath the ghost stories. The culprit? A complex optical phenomenon known as fata morgana, a superior mirage that distorts reality on the horizon. When warm air rests on top of cold ocean water, it acts as a colossal magnifying glass, bending light rays over the curvature of the Earth. This mirage can project the image of a ship that is completely over the horizon, making it appear as if it is floating in the clouds. To a superstitious crew, exhausted and isolated, this stretched floating mirage looked exactly like a phantom vessel. Yet, boiling the legend down to simple optics ignores the deep psychological terror of ancient seafaring. The Flying Dutchman wasn't just a trick of the light, it was the physical manifestation of a sailor's greatest fear, never returning home. It embodied the ultimate punishment for defying the sea, a reminder that the ocean always, eventually, collects its toll. The myth of the cursed captain didn't stay confined to the Cape. It mutated, spreading like a virus across the trade routes of rival empires. In German folklore, the captain was known as Herr von Falkenberg, a man condemned to sail the North Sea without a helm or helmsman. Legend claimed that Falkenberg's fate wasn't sealed by a storm, but by a midnight game of dice with the devil himself. He wagered his soul for absolute mastery over the ocean's currents, a bet that he tragically lost. Whether it was a deal with the devil or sheer arrogance against God, the punishment remained identical: an eternity of restless wandering. By the 18th century, the legend had firmly embedded itself in the minds of the outlaws who ruled the Caribbean. To pirates, the Flying Dutchman was the ultimate cursed ghost ship doomed to sail the oceans forever, a grim reminder of their own likely fates. They believed that the Dutchman was a harbinger of Davy Jones, tasked with ferrying the souls of drowned sailors to the abyss. To cross paths with the phantom ship meant you had already been marked for death by the sea itself. It was the one entity that even the most bloodthirsty and fearless outlaws refused to hunt. As the golden age of sail gave way to the era of steel and steam, one might assume the ghost ship would fade into history. But the ocean does not care for human progress. The Dutchman adapted to the nightmares of a new century. During World War I, the sea became a mechanical slaughterhouse, and sightings of the phantom vessel surged once again. In 1939, at the onset of World War II, a massive crowd on a beach in South Africa witnessed something inexplicable. Just offshore, sailing steadily against a fierce gale, was a 17th century merchant ship with tattered sails. The ship maintained its course despite having no modern propulsion, gliding silently as the beachgoers watched in terror. Just as quickly as it appeared, the vessel dissolved into a thin mist, leaving a beach full of witnesses questioning their sanity. But the most terrifying encounters during the World Wars didn't happen on the surface. They happened in the crushing black depths. German U-boat commanders, operating under immense psychological stress, reported horrific sights through their periscopes. Admiral Karl Donitz allegedly noted that U-boat crews claimed to see the ghostly galleon cruising silently underwater, right alongside them. Were these sightings mass hallucinations, the byproduct of exhaustion, fear, and the toxic air inside early submarines? Or is there something about the ocean itself, a vast, featureless void that permanently breaks the human mind? The breakaway phenomenon is a documented psychological state where isolated individuals lose their grip on reality and time. When you stare at the horizon long enough, your brain begins to fill in the empty space with your deepest subconscious fears. And for centuries, a sailor's deepest fear was the phantom ship, a terrifying mirror reflecting their own mortality. The Dutchman became a maritime boogeyman, an amalgamation of every ship lost at sea and every crew that never made it home. Even as our maps became flawless and our radar pierced the fog, the legend refused to die. It found its way into literature, becoming the inspiration for Richard Wagner's haunting 1843 opera Der Fliegende Holländer. Through art, the curse of Captain van der Decken was immortalized, cementing his status as the ultimate tragic figure of the sea. He is the eternal prisoner of the ocean, a cautionary tale warning us that human ambition will always shatter against the forces of nature. To understand the sheer terror of the Flying Dutchman, we have to look closer at the vessel itself, a ship that defies every law of nature. The timber of the hull is no longer oak. It is calcified into a supernatural, impenetrable black ironwood. It cannot be burned, it cannot be sunk, and it is entirely immune to the devastating impacts of cannon fire. Even the wildlife of the ocean instinctively recoils from the vessel. Instead of seagulls, the ship is allegedly followed by flocks of spectral, rotting albatrosses squawking with human voices. Wherever the ship sails, it drags its own personal, eternal microclimate along with it. Lightning strikes the mainmast relentlessly, not to destroy it, but to feed the supernatural energy of the curse. St. Elmo's fire, a ghostly blue plasma, constantly dances across the deck, illuminating the horrifying eternal tasks of the crew. They are trapped in a purgatorial time loop, repeating the agonizing final moments of their doomed 1641 voyage forever. And at the helm stands Captain Decken, reading a rotting navigational map where the continents constantly shift and change. The Dutchman's dark legacy bled into reality, inspiring endless paranoia about every vessel found abandoned at sea. When the Mary Celeste was found drifting and completely abandoned in 1872, sailors immediately blamed the curse of the Dutchman. Superstition dictated that the Mary Celeste had crossed paths with the Phantom Galleon, and its crew had been dragged to Davy Jones's locker. Even today, in the era of GPS and massive steel leviathans, the Cape of Good Hope remains one of the deadliest maritime choke points. Modern sailors navigating these treacherous waters still report anomalous radar blips that mirror the legend of the ultimate cursed ghost ship, doomed to sail the oceans forever. When crews look out their reinforced bridge windows into the darkness, they sometimes see a faint, blood-red glow on the horizon. Is it the refracted light of a distant oil rig? Or is Captain Decken still violently searching for a port he can never enter? The ocean floor is a museum of failure, littered with the wrecks of 3 million sunken ships. Yet, oceanographers and deep-sea explorers have mapped countless 17th century wrecks around the Cape, and the Dutchman has never been among them, because it cannot sink. The true horror of the curse is that the ocean refuses to grant them the peace of death. The Flying Dutchman is a monument to the ultimate nautical nightmare, eternal, inescapable isolation. Imagine standing at the helm for 400 years, watching empires rise and fall while you are trapped in a rotting wooden cage. The stars above have shifted their positions, yet Decken cannot navigate by them. Scene 84. His punishment is perfectly designed. He has absolute command of his ship, but zero control over his destination. Some maritime historians argue that the story is actually a deeply profound allegory for the human condition. We are all captains of our own vessels, navigating the chaotic storms of life, terrified of never finding a safe harbor. The arrogance of Decken represents humanity's dangerous belief that we can conquer nature through sheer willpower. And his eternal curse is a reminder that the ocean, massive and indifferent, will always have the final say. So the next time you stand on the shore and stare out into the fog, listen closely to the wind. Because out there in the endless dark, the Dutchman is still sailing, waiting for the end of the world. The legend of the Flying Dutchman is far more than a simple campfire tale passed down by superstitious sailors. It is a permanent psychological scar on maritime history, reflecting our deep ancestral fear of the unknown. Because no matter how advanced our technology becomes, the ocean remains an untamable alien world right here on Earth. It stands as the ultimate cursed ghost ship, doomed to sail the oceans forever, an eternal guardian of the abyss. Those who dare to disrespect the sea, who challenge its absolute authority with blinding arrogance, share the captain's sin. Captain Decken is the immortal avatar of that hubris, paying the price in unending torment. His shattered vessel will never find safe harbor, and his rotted hands will never release the helm. As the centuries roll on, the galleon will continue to carve its path through the tempest, entirely indifferent to the changing world. A phantom warning broadcasted through the fog, etched into the soul of every sailor who dares to look too closely at the horizon, because the sea remembers everything and the sea never forgives.